Hello, fellow crafters. My name's Sue Hetrick, and I am super excited to be here with you today. I'm going to be sharing one of my personal favorite painting techniques. My husband Jim and I use this technique quite often in our Pottery Studio, ClayFriends. So this style of painting has been around for centuries. However, it was made famous by the 19th century painter Vincent van Gogh. This technique is called impasto. It's an art term that's used to describe a thick layering on of paint that leaves visible brush marks and 3D effect. So let's get started. And here's what you're going to need. I'm using a Maker Studio ceramic paints, which I feel are some of the best in the business. Especially for people who don't have kilns in their home. This paint I found to be quite stable and long-lasting without using a kiln. Now, I will say that because of the layering technique that I'm going to show you, I do sometimes put it in the oven just to layer dry and make sure that when I layer on again that I'm working on completely processed paint on the dish or whatever I'm painting. So the other thing that I am using is a mesh stencil. This is just a portion of, and I have it marked for the center so that I can get it on the plate. This is the plate that we'll be doing, or that I will be showing you. It is just a dollar store small dessert plate, and this stencil was put on both sides in the very light, always a bridesmaid. And like I was saying, with the marking, I can get it centered exactly, and then also on the other side. So that would have to be dry before I'd add any more paint on top of it. Okay. So the next thing you're going to need is a painter's brush, and I do love the one from a Maker Studio. I think they're $1.99 on the site, but it's a nice firm brush with a nice tip, and I'll show you why that comes in handy when we get started here. The other thing that I think comes in handy, and also I know you can get bottles just about anywhere, but these little bottles come from Colors for Earth, and they have a locking cap. So I have filled this bottle with the ceramic paint, and what I'm going to show you when we get started is there's a tip that fits on here, and that is what allows us to do the thick textured paint. So these I will supply for you on my website, ClayFriends Studio, a complete list of where you can get these supplies if you wish. The other thing that you should have is what is called a piping kit. It cleans the tips. The bottles come with two tips. This is a small, extremely small hole, and then it comes with one with a, the pink one has the larger hole. But to clean this small area, you would fill this with water, and you screw this on, and then of course push the plunger through to expel the water through here. And you do that several times. Pull more water up and push it out. And then you would just keep these stored separately and always replace the locking tip on your bottle. I have had ceramic paints in these bottles for months, and they're as fresh as the day I got them. They will not dry out in these bottles, so I highly recommend those. All right. So the other thing that you might want to have, the bottles, the cleaner, and then some paper towels and a container of water. The other one thing, you don't need this, but it does help sometimes. I use a glass medium, but it is also from Colors for Earth, and it is just to dress your brush in. Okay, now I'm gonna turn the camera down and we'll get started. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is a technique of applying the paint, and on this I'm going to start with this blue. It's called You're the Water to My Ocean. And in a little bottle. And I like to shake it up a little bit. And the fine tip is the one that I will be using. Now what I'll do, what I like to do, is to just put a little bit of glass media, because Colors for Earth, where I get my bottles, of course Jim and I have a kiln that we fire our pottery up to 1400 degrees. So mostly what they sell is for people who are doing professional work. But the bottles are great for the Maker Studio too. So I've dressed my brush. I think I just run it through the medium, and if you don't have the medium, definitely water works just no problem there. Paper towel. And you always want to start the flow on a paper towel in case you have a bubble or something. There, we got a good flow going. And now I'm going to start on the tip of that. And what you want to do is just pull a tiny bit toward the center. And then if you're going to change colors, you want to just dab your brush in the, have some water there. And keep going here. So this is where I just layered a line around the outside. And now I'm going to go in with my brush. And what I like to do is just make a chisel edge, something like that. And then you're going to just grab with the tip. You're going to grab this and pull to the center. It's a really light stroke. I'm trying to show you this. Okay. Now, if your brush starts to drag, which mine just did, I'm going to go back into my medium and get my brush on that chisel edge again so that I can pull it down. Into the center. The other thing that's really fun to do with these bottles is a dotting effect. If you just like to make dots, which I love to make dots. So you can see the dots that I made over here. This side right here, a lot of dots. You can actually do mandalas and there's other techniques that dots are super popular. Okay. One more. Sure, I have that chisel edge. Pull into the center. So what happens with this technique is that you end up getting highs and lows where you don't need to go back in and shade or add light, because the pink underneath is going to be the highlights, and this dark blue, of course, is going to be heavier on the edge and show up like shadow. So once you get this part pulled in, you can only work it for a little while, because this is no bake ceramic paint. It starts to set up and become permanent. So you have just really a limited amount of time to work on it. So, okay, that's the brushwork. And now I'll show you the dots, how I do the dots. And what you want to do is hold this at an angle, not straight up and down, but kind of at an angle. And the dots are already on there for you. They're a part of this stencil that we began with. And I'm going to just squeeze a tiny bit out and release. And squeeze and release. And squeeze. You see the dots coming along there. So depending how big you want your dots would be determined by the size of the tip that you use. And the other dots that I did on the leaves were done with the green, and that is Smoke Gets in My Eyes. So let's shake that up quick. anyone has any questions, you can always come to, we have a Facebook group called Clay Magnolias DIY, and you're welcome to come and like that page, join our group. Now I'm going to do the leaves. You can do as much or as little as you want. Done so far. The little leaves down there, and then I'll have that one flower to do yet. And I'd like to add centers to my flowers too, and those will be white dots. I think a Maker Studio may be getting yellow in. I hope they are, because that would be a plus. All right. So what I do is try to close these up right away, of course, as soon as I'm done. And I'll take the tip off and put it into water until I can get to the sink, or, you know, get those cleaned out. Go ahead and just finish this up so you can see it. So everything on the flower, each petal should be pulled toward the center of the flower. That's where you want to aim for. And it does take a little bit of practice. It's not going to be perfect the first time that you do it. But with practice, you really can get this down to where it's just second nature to you. Now, the other thing that you can do, and I'll show you that in a minute, is because this product, these ceramic paints, do not need to be baked, it opens up the ability to do this on a product that is not ceramic, maybe paper. If you like to make invitations or something like that. I do ornaments. All right. Pretty happy with that. It just adds a little pop. And like I said, once you've done it with the stencil, you can get brave and freeform some things. And I can show you that quick too. Only supposed to go 20 minutes on this video, so I'm not sure how much time we'll have, but I will be doing some more things on my Facebook group. So if you would like to join, that'd be great. And I've really enjoyed sharing this technique with you, and enjoy the rest of your